Afternoon, gamers. Oh, boy. So we got Uncharted 2 starting up here in about an hour. YouTube has some kind of fancy newfangled feature where you can make live streams or premieres when they finish, dump the audience into something else in the same way that like stream raids or whatever work on Twitch. So I thought, why don't we all hang out for a little bit before Uncharted 2 starts, and then we can just jump over into that when the premiere starts, which is like, what, an hour from now? Something like that? Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, like an hour from now. I don't know, something like that. Weird. YouTube's funky sometimes, you guys. The way that it lays stuff out, strange. Don't fully understand it. Whatever. Well, until a few... I'm gonna hopefully a few more people will filter in here before we, you know, as time goes on. For right now, honestly, we're not playing a game. We're just kind of hanging out. We're going to talk about stuff. I have some stuff that I want to say about the upcoming playthrough, about some other channel business, but we don't need to talk about it, you know, right now. I want to wait for a few more people to show up, and we can have a bit more of a chat about it. Actually, hold on 1 second. I feel like what did I do with it? I had a glass of water here a second ago, and it's vanished. Let me find my glass of water real fast. Give me like 30 seconds. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I set my water down in the other room, and I'm pretty thirsty. So I kind of had to get that. Guess I didn't have to. You know, I would have lived for an hour, but I wanted to anyway. I figured now would be the better time anyway, since there weren't as many people, huh? Whew. Alrighty. Yeah, Uncharted 2, starting in an hour. Out of curiosity, how many people are actually familiar with Uncharted 2? How many of you guys are familiar with Uncharted previously versus just watching it with our show? I'm curious. That's curious. Y'all, I don't understand YouTube's anything really, but there's all kinds of weirdo stuff in here. Yes, Void Dusk, the Uncharted 2 Let's Play is finished filming. We almost finished it in 2 sessions, actually. That didn't quite happen, though. We started filming it back in December, and our plan was to get it done in, like, 1 weekend, in 2 days. And we almost did. We had to stop with, like, 3 hours left. Oh, my God. Savina CV with 5 Canadian dollars. Thank you very much. Took me a second to figure out what the hell was going on with your super chat. How do I even perform this? How do I perform this? Here is $5. Simply the best. Up to the test if you need a snack. Sure, that's fine. I don't know where you got the snack part from. I guess for the $5 is for the snack, right? I appreciate it. Thank you. That was creative application, I guess. I gotta give you points for that, at least. For coming at me like that. Thank you very much for the donation. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Let's see. Noriega played them all. Fury Wraith played and finished the first 3. Jin, been watching it as I've been watching it as you guys have been playing it. Or do you mean you? Oh, yeah, whatever, doesn't matter. Did Noriega even tried the harder difficulties? Played in Platinum the first 3. I've played all the console Uncharted games, says Bobcat. Kind of missed the big hype wave, so glad I did it now that you are covering it. Played all the games 1 time each, says Death by Dirt. I even got plats for 1 and 3 on PlayStation 3 back when I cared about that stuff. JG with the $3 donation. I'm listening to this while cooking ratatouille. You enjoy that ratatouille. Hopefully it'll be delicious. Thank you for your support. Void Desk, I only played the opening of Uncharted 2 after your Let's Play finished, and that's all I've played. All right, cool. Ali says, never played any. I suck at anything with guns. Norwega, actually, since it's such a cinematic game, I tried showing it to my grandma. It was fun to spend time with her. Yeah, Uncharted, people use Uncharted often as like a gateway. I'm going to share this with people who aren't gamers a game. It's not bad for that sort of thing. Only played Uncharted 4, so the brother reveal didn't bother me, lol, says Jack Ward. The brother reveal didn't bother me either. And that's not even a spoiler, I don't mind saying that. Nathan Drake has a brother who doesn't really come up in the first 3 games, and he comes up in the 4th game. And it really bent some people out of shape that he just kind of appeared out of nowhere. It did not bother me at all, but that's a story for a few games from now, isn't it? Savnia CV, my only exposure to Uncharted was 1 trailer at some E3, and then your amazing playthrough of the first game. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm touched. Yeah, Jack Ward, now that your playthroughs are coming out, I plan on giving the other games a shot. Never played 1, played the crap out of 2 and 3, only played through 4 like 2 times, says Yush. Yeah. I also never played 1 until very recently, as part of the HD collection last year. I played 2 an unseemly amount of times. I played a decent amount of multiplayer for 3, and I never replayed the single player for 3 until, like, literally yesterday and today. Only played through 4, like, 2 times. I don't know if I've played through the campaign of 4 more than once or twice. Probably 2, maybe 3 times, like, just through. And I played Lost Legacy a couple of times. I gotta be honest, I'm being double reminded of it because I'm playing it again. I don't care for 3 very much. 3, you guys, it's gonna be weird when we get to 3. Because I will have so many positive things to say about it, and I will spend so much of that game gushing about it. And you'll be really confused to hear me be praising it so much and insist that it sucks. And it's not even like a late game twist like Ruins. It's not like one of those situations where like it's good and then it becomes bad. It's like it's bad from kind of the very beginning, but it's like full of good stuff. It's full of really high highs. The low stuff is really not very good. I was, like, literally playing it the other day. I was like, oh, wow. When I started playing it again, I was like, oh, wow, I'm really into this part. I'm having a good time. Like, the second that I had to pick up and shoot a gun, I stopped being into it. I don't know what it is. The gunplay in 3 feels really weird. Like, it's really difficult to explain. It is not fun to aim and shoot the gun in 3. When I'm running around and punching people and jumping on things, 3's fun. When I have to shoot the gun, it's not good. Yosh says, is 3 better than 1, though? Honestly, let me put it to you this way. When I played 3, when it came out in 2011, I finished it, and to be fair, I played a little bit of the multiplayer, but I had absolutely no desire to replay the campaign. I replayed a couple of choice levels, but I never went back and replayed the campaign, like, in its entirety. Whereas when I beat Uncharted 1, granted, the fixed version in the Nathan Drake collection, when I played Uncharted 1 last year for the first time, my immediate response to playing through the campaign one time was to replay it on Crushing and get the Platinum. So I think that speaks for itself on which game I enjoy playing more. I really don't know how to explain it. I'm gonna have a hard time explaining it even during the 3 playthrough, but like shooting the gun feels physically bad in 3. I don't like it. I like shooting the gun in 1 and 2 and 4 and Lost Legacy. 4 and Lost Legacy are the same game, so that's cheating. And shooting the gun feels gross in 3. I don't get it. Will you demonstrate the cover launch glitch in 3? I don't know what you're talking about. I guess that's something to look up before filming it, isn't it? No, I think that Lost Legacy is, honestly, I think 3 is probably my least favorite in the series. It's like it's you guys are gonna see what I mean when we play it. Like, it is so hard to say. I don't know. It's not hard for me to say that. It's so weird to say that I don't like it, considering how much good stuff is in it. Like, every level, I will be turning to Joey and going, "Look at how amazing this is! Look how cool look how amazing the technology is, the music, the presentation. Oh my god, this is so incredible! Why does this feel like it came out yesterday and it's 10 years old? This is so good! It's too bad that it sucks." Uncharted 3 really feels like they made the levels first and thought up the story around it later. Oh, it doesn't just feel like that. They did that. Like, they've said as much. They planned all the set pieces and then wrote the story around it. It's a speedrunning tactic. Retro Replay showed it off a lot in their speedrun playthrough. Okay, I haven't watched that. I guess I'll have to swing by that sometime later. You better show Joey the Uncharted subway commercial during the 3 playthrough. It never gets old. God, I mean, I remember that, but I don't think I would have thought to, like, show it to him. I may have to, because it's... I'll have to show it, like, towards the end. I can't show it at the beginning. I will have to share it with him. Yeah, we'll have to watch that as part of the thing. When's Uncharted 2? About, what? 40 minutes from now? Yeah. Uncharted 2 starts at, about 40 minutes from now. When this stream ends, Uncharted 2 will begin. K9 Nordesti? K9 Nordesti? Sorry, I'm not sure. But yeah, no, so I was answering this question earlier and I got distracted. Somebody was asking, is Uncharted 2 all filmed? Yes, it is. Uncharted 1 and 2 were both totally filmed before they started releasing. Gosh, I think Jedi Fallen Order might have been fully filmed before it started releasing. I forget. I'm pretty sure I waited to start releasing it until I knew we'd finished shooting, because if you guys will recall, we started shooting it before pandemic happened. I feel like it got delayed until it was all done before it started releasing. Kingdom Hearts 3 was obviously all shot before it started. I'm trying to think, like, what was shot, like, while it was releasing, because more and more recently, I have been unable to do that. Let's think about this. Final Fantasy VII and Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories were all releasing while they were still being shot. Until all of, like, Reverse Rebirth for Riku was all shot, like, a year before it released. Kingdom Hearts 2 was definitely filming while it was being released. Hitman might have all been shot before it released. Shovel Knight, I believe, was all shot before it started releasing. Kingdom Hearts 2 was definitely being filmed while it was releasing, though. Deltarune was just one evening, so it was all shot before it was released. I forget exactly when we finished filming Birth by Sleep. No, Birth by Sleep was definite. No? I'm trying to think. Crud. Maybe not. No, Birth by Sleep was definitely still shooting when we released it, because I did the emergency Birth by Sleep stream like 2 days before the playthrough started, and that was to get endgame data to be able to film, to be able to finish Aqua's campaign and get the secret episode. So I'm trying to remember. That was like a week, I think, before, a week or so before before Birth by Sleep started. I'm not sure. Then Coded Days and Dream Drop were all, like, everything after that was, all the Kingdom Hearts stuff after that was well finished before it was released. Uncharted 2 Uncharted 1 we finished in 2 sessions, and it was all done before we released it. I'd have to double check when we started releasing Jedi, though I think what am I talking about? We absolutely finished Jedi before, yeah, because we shot that in, like, we finished shooting that in, like, July of last year, and I don't think I started releasing it until, like, November, so yeah, that was, or sometime around, like, it was after that, yeah. Uncharted 2, was a little bit of a weird situation because we were shooting that in December and we were gonna get it done in 2 days. We were like within 3 days of it being done. Mario Galaxy definitely was not done when it started being released. I don't know if you'd count that. I don't know. I'd count it. It counts. Yeah, Yosh, the very first playthrough on Research Runs is a playthrough of Hitman 2016 with Joey and I. That was the first. That was the in between Chain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 2 playthrough. In between Chain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 2, when Research Runs was getting started, we released a Hitman playthrough, a ramble of Aiden and I playing the Game Boy Advance version of Chain of Memories, and Aiden and I released a playthrough of Shovel Knight, which the first 2 items were all released before Kingdom Hearts 2 started, and about half the Shovel Knight playthrough released before Kingdom Hearts 2 started. Yeah, so we almost finished Uncharted 2 in 2 sessions, but Joey had a family situation that evening, the evening of the second session, and had to leave, and we were then, due to a wide variety of circumstances, unable to shoot for some time, until, gosh, when did we finish filming? I can get the date. I have it here. What day were these files made on? March 26th. Yeah, the final session of Uncharted 2 was March 26th, which was honestly not even that long. It was probably like 3 hours to 3 to 4 hours of filming. Maybe not even that much. Let me find out real quick. $42. Come on, give me the readout. Come on, let's go. Let's see. 42 minutes, 48 minutes, 53 minutes. Yeah, it was approximately 3 hours. It was a real shame. We could have wrapped it up in December, which I'm not sure it would have released much earlier. If we'd finished it in December, maybe I could have released it immediately after Jedi was done. But honestly, it probably would have been releasing around this time anyway, just because I had other things I needed to get done. Jack Ward, do you ever plan on playing Final Fantasy X? No, probably not. Not on the channel. Here's the thing. With that one, like, I'm familiar with it. Joey's familiar with it. Joshua's familiar with it. I guess Aiden isn't, but especially on long game, like, Aiden's availability is so limited anyway that if we were going to play a long RPG in the first place, I would really pick my battles on that. I would really pick something I really wanted to talk about. And 10 is just not very high on my list. I have nothing to contribute to the discourse on 10. I have no strong feelings on Final Fantasy X whatsoever. Thank you for your question. Thanks for the interest, but no, probably not. Ballcat says, maybe the best way to describe Uncharted 3 is that it's less than the sum of its parts, not greater. Yeah, that's not a bad way of putting it. It's 3's just kind of weird. 3's messy. 3, like, it is going to take, not because, like, there's some kind of late game twist on, like, you know, it's not one of those things where, like, I can't talk about it until the end because of spoilers, right? It is, like, the badness of Uncharted 3 is so complex that it will take the course of an entire playthrough to properly explain what the problems. But anyway. Yeah, so I have some like business to address regarding channel stuff, but we've got like 30 minutes, so I'm happy to talk about whatever, and we can wait to get onto that for a few minutes. I don't mind. Because eventually I'm gonna have to do like a proper channel update anyway when I have a little bit more information, but I can just like, I don't mind, like, I'd rather just tell you guys like the basics of stuff. I'd rather talk about other stuff right now anyway, just it's more fun. Are you gonna do another short game with Aiden like Shovel Knight? Not sure, Allie. Aiden and I have a project. Aiden and I have a project that is already being, like, we've already shot part of it. via the interwebs. We're filming it like over. Basically, the way that we're doing it is I have pre-taped the game. I have basically already cut, in terms of the game end, I've already cut the episodes. Which in some cases is just, you know, an hour or 40 minutes or whatever of uncut video. Though in other cases, it's like I am making cuts to like jump around or like to show multiple versions of something. So it's kind of already edited with like, you know, and then we are watching she where she is and I where I am. We are watching the video at the same time and talking to each other over Discord. I've started editing it and I'm encountering kind of big audio problems with the synchronization of like, it's difficult to make it sound good because I'm using my local recording and her local recording, right? And it's like, I'm trying to match it as closely as I can so that all of her reactions sync up with the video on her end, and all of my reactions sync up with the video on my end, right? However, that doesn't mean that our reactions to each other always sync up, because there's the inherent internet lag, no matter how fast your connection is, of voices going across the wire and getting to one person, going back, all that sort of thing, right? So it's like, when I edit it, I have to like, okay, it sounds like it sounds like one of us is cutting the other one off, or our reaction to the other one, like a laugh at a joke, is really delayed, and it's just a huge headache to cut, because the easiest way to balance the audio is to combine our two audios into one track. Once she sends me her files, I combine them into one track, right? That makes, basically, I do minor adjustments to each, then I combine them into one, so I can just do, like, unilateral mixing across all of our audio. It makes it so much easier. However, this then creates a problem of, if I want to say, like, I know that, like, you know, it sounds like one of us is cutting the other one up, or we're talking over each other. But that's because in real time we were, but over Discord we weren't. Or, like, a laugh to a joke is, like, 5 seconds too late, right? Not 5 seconds, but, like, a second too late. Like, I can't unentangle the tracks to edit them and space them out very easily. It's difficult. And I'm only, like, 3 episodes into editing this thing. We haven't shot very much of it. And, like, it's just a huge headache to cut, and I haven't touched it in weeks because I've been busy with main channel videos and with Uncharted 2. Whenever I get back around to editing this other LP, which I'll probably try to get back around to it next week. I don't know if that'll happen or not. It's going to depend on how well I'm doing on other projects. Whenever I get back around to it, I'm going to try and get through another episode or two and see if I can find some solutions to these problems. Time. Okay, how long is it actually taking me to do this? And how much of a problem is it? Is this just bothering me because I'm noticing it? Or is this a really minor problem that, like, no one is going to be able to notice except for me because I was there when we recorded it and I know that this is not exactly what happened? Like, is this actually noticeable? If I decide that it's not noticeable, or that I find a better solution to fix it, then I'll just continue. If I find out that this is going to be a massive headache for the entirety of the LP, because it is a slightly longer game, we may just cancel it because it's going to be hard enough to edit over time. And I'll loop back around to why it may get canceled later, because that's kind of part of a larger conversation. Right now, let's just say that the game in question that Aiden and I are working on is longer than Shovel Knight. But we'll leave it at that for right now. Even if it was, honestly, because even Shovel Knight is like, it's still like a I don't know, like a 5-10 hour game. Even that, like I'm only 3-4 hours into editing the thing that we're currently doing, and I'm like, this might be a real problem, like long term, if I'm cutting this for a while. I saw you using the twinning music on a video. Yep, I used that in one of the episodes of Uncharted 1. I may have used it in other stuff too, I'm not sure. Thinking of doing a Final Fantasy XIV video would be really interesting since it's an MMO with a really good story. I have never played Final Fantasy XIV, and I have no plans to play Final Fantasy XIV. I'm just familiar with the soundtrack, and I read about the story every now and then, but I've never played it. Jin asks, will you do discussion videos on the Uncharted series or something similar to the best of you released before? So specifically with regards to, I'm thinking about doing reviews for the Uncharted games, because I have a lot to talk about with them, and I think they're interesting. Often more because of the context than the content of the games. Like, they're not until you get to 4. 4 is, like, actually a legitimately interesting story. But, like, the other games are often interesting more for just, like, their execution. And, like, they're interesting for reasons that are interesting to me. That's not a good explanation, but I don't care. With regards to those games, I've talked before about doing reviews of the Kingdom Hearts games, and for those, I would want to do really nice, well put together things. And like, they would probably be pretty in depth. For Uncharted, I feel like I could write a review for any of those games relatively quickly and produce it relatively quickly. So I think I'm going to try and make reviews of the Uncharted games as the playthroughs are going on. Probably pretty low-key on the editing. Like, I'm probably not going to be constantly cutting to really relevant footage. I may not even have music underneath it. I might just have severely ducked game audio. But I think I might do that because, like, I've got all the footage anyway from the LPs, and I've got stuff to talk about. So you may see an Uncharted 1. I'm going to try, if I can, to get an Uncharted 1 review done before Uncharted 2 is finished, and try to get an Uncharted 2 review done around the time, or maybe, like, right after Uncharted 2, the LP is finished. Uh-oh. Wow. Damn. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna chill out for a second, because our kilobytes per second dropped to 0. They just dropped to 1,500. Why? Stabilizing? Okay. It seems to have decided that it's done now. Alright. Does Uncharted 2 count as a short game, not that long compared to most AAA games? Yeah, Uncharted 2 is like, what, like 10, 13 hours, something like that? God. Give me a second, please. I'll be right back. Wanted to make sure nobody was torrenting a 4K movie or whatever and messing up our bit rate, but it appears it's just a coincidence. Appears it is simply a coincidence. OC7 Sergey, have you tried recording the session from just one end so sync is not a problem, or is the audio too bad? That's certainly an option. Aiden's audio would not be nearly as high quality. And on a number of episodes, I do have a tape of her on my end. Like, as a backup. Unless I forget, I usually record our Discord call anyway as a backup. Because it's always good to have backups, kids. And I have, in fact, part of how I realized that the desync was so bad was because I was using our Discord call as a reference file. Comparing it to the two source audio tracks. Again, I haven't put a ton of time into editing this new LP with Aiden, so solutions to my problems may yet reveal themselves. I've only cut 2 episodes and started cutting the 3rd one, so it's, it's a developing situation. When's the Uncharted Golden Abyss playthrough, says Yush? Never. Big never. But yeah, I'd like to do, God. Stream's current bit rate is 1,098. Lower than the recommended. Yeah, no kidding. Wow. What a What a wise recommendation. First of all, OBS doesn't let you adjust your bitrate in the middle of a stream. You can't do that, I don't think. Second of all, my bitrate is set for 4,000, like it should be, so hardly matters. Well, Joshua can't start his own stream to compete because he's on the other side of the country, so that would not be an issue. Even if he did start his own stream to compete, it would have very little impact on the performance in this household. Whatever. All right, let's just forget that. It seems to be stable now. We're just going to move on and pretend that that didn't happen. We tried using other software like Streamlabs or Elements. I don't know anything about these things that you're talking about. Oh, okay, now I know what Streamlabs is. You meant like for this, not for what I'm doing with Aiden. No, I've never messed with Streamlabs. Honestly, like, so a lot of people who stream like using Streamlabs because they like using these secondary services because it means that they don't have to be worried about they get a bigger cut on donations, right? Like if you guys give me money in chat, right? If you guys do a donation and buy a super chat or whatever, right? That like YouTube takes a cut of that, right? And so a lot of people like using these secondary services because they get a much higher cut. I don't, because number one, it's a bit of a hassle anyway for me and for on the user end for a lot of you guys. But the other big reason is that if you buy a super chat through YouTube, you can't do the chargeback nonsense. This is not something that I really have to worry about because I'm not that big of a deal. But a lot of streamers have issues with some of these services do not have chargeback protection, which is basically like, I'm going to give you money during the stream, right? I'm going to give you $100 during the stream to get a shout out and to have somebody read my chat message. And then I'm going to go to my credit card company or whatever to say, I didn't mean to purchase that. And then the money gets taken back. And you, the streamer, can get in trouble for fraud when that happens. So, I ain't messing with that. I'm not going anywhere near that. I'll take the slight monetary cut in exchange for legal protection any day. Not exactly like I'm swimming in cash doing this show anyway. All right, we got 20 minutes left. Now is probably the time to get into some talk stuff that I want to talk about. There is much talk, as they say. As they say, there is much talk. Now I will talk, and you will listen. That's Gravemind from Halo 2. That's Grave Guy from Halo 2, ladies and gentlemen. Grave Guy from Halo 2. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, today I invite you to look at some numbers with me. We're going to talk about some numbers with regards to this YouTube channel. A lot of this I am going to have to talk about in a proper video later on, but whatever, the 30 some odd of you that are here, I get to hear about it now, so that's fine. Alrighty. These are numbers for the Frustrated Jacob YouTube channel in the last 90 days specifically. April over here, January over here. These are the last 90 days of whatchamacallit, 2021, right? All right. Hero of the People refuses money for our entertainment. No, thank you. I refuse the total amount of money for my own safety. If you guys want to give me money for more entertainment, please, by all means, I will take it. Don't give me money if you can't afford it, because I don't need this, like, the stuff I make off, like, I don't need it to live, so nobody give me any cash if you can't, especially right now. I mean, the last year's been hard for everybody, so, but I'm fine, so. I'm not out here begging for cash, because I don't need it. I'd like it. It'd be fun. It'd be fun to make more money on YouTube, but it's not that big of a deal, as we're going to get into in a second here. Yeah, I'm not going to show anybody my financials, primarily because if you found out how little money I make doing this, it would be very embarrassing. But regardless, let's move on. These are numbers for the last 90 days, right? On the main channel. For any of you who are not familiar with this interface, all these little play buttons you see indicate the release of videos, right? This indicates a day when a video came out. Normally, I would be able to hover over these, and it would say what video it is and the exact date, but this is a screenshot, not the actual website. This little number 2 indicates that 2 videos came out in that approximate area. We can guess from the spikes here and here. Anyway, so basically this shows you, right now this is showing number of views when an individual video comes out, right? Predictably, a new video comes out and we get a slight spike in viewership. This obviously makes sense. On certain days, if people keep watching the video, then it continues to do pretty well. So whatever this was, I forget exactly what it was. This was Melody of Memory. This would have been the PlayStation thingamajig. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Who cares? It really does not matter. As you can see, sometimes the numbers stay up a little bit the following day. This came out on an evening. Was that Melody of Memory? I put it on no, that was way too long ago. Doesn't matter. I don't care. Whatever. Sometimes videos will continue to do a little bit better after they come out. Sometimes it dips right back down. Whatever, right? So these are views on given days. These are subscribers. You will notice that in the last 90 days, I have hold on. Lost 165 subscribers on the main channel. You'll notice that when I put new videos out, people unsubscribe in large quantities, ranging from the 10 to up to 18 or so. This is expected, and indeed I am somewhat happy about it. This may sound odd to you. Allow me to explain why. I have been sitting on a bunch of, shall we say, chaff subscribers for the last number of years. I got up to around 28,300 something. 28,400, 500, whatever, on Frustrated Jacob, right? Many of these subscribers subscribed to me back in the day when I was doing Final Fantasy 15 coverage, or they subscribed to me because I did one video about one subject one time, and many of them subscribed to me 5 years ago before I stopped making stuff because I was too busy. So now when I release videos, it is very common for someone who subscribed to me 3 years ago to go, who's this guy? Oh, that guy. And unsubscribe when I pop up in their feed. This is to be expected. And in some regards, I'm not sure if it's good or bad. Because the YouTube algorithm is a mysterious mistress, and everybody's always trying to figure out how to get their stuff to show up in other people's feeds, right? To get their videos to show up in other people's recommendeds to get more viewership, right? Now, a lot of different things have changed about how the algorithm works over the years, and one thing that ruined a lot of YouTubers back in the day, people talk about the adpocalypse and whatever. Something else that a lot of people don't know about if they're not part of this world is the change in prioritization from views to watch time. This right here. So it became much more important to create long-form things, or things that got you over that 10 or 15-minute mark so you could place multiple ad breaks. You wanted to be able to show that people were watching a lot of your videos for a longer period of time. That means you're a more valuable place to put advertisements, right? This is part of why Freddie Wong and all of his stuff died. He pivoted to doing long-form videos, and then that wasn't good enough either, and he and his whole company kind of vanished, and he does other stuff now. So watch time is one of the main metrics that people track on YouTube now. This isn't very important. I'm just mentioning this is one thing that YouTube looks for, right? There are a billion things that we can guess that YouTube is looking for to try and feed videos to people. But one of them I have to, basically it's going to be also it's worth noting in the last 90 days, I've gotten 66.6K views. Make of that what you will. On the main channel. Anyway, everybody's always wondering how to win in this environment, in this ecosystem, and I have to imagine that if I'm sitting on 28,000 subscribers, and when I put out a video, it gets 1,000 views, that tells YouTube that nobody cares, and they should not be recommending my stuff to anybody because, well, gee whiz, this guy has 28,000 subscribers and nobody's watching it. Now, granted, I'm sure many of you are thinking there are channels out there with, 4 million subscribers or whatever, and the average video only gets, those channels release only get 500,000 or 1 million, right? Yes, to be fair, a lot of these bigger channels have tons of subscribers, and every subscriber isn't going to watch every video, but it's still a significantly higher percentage of those total subscribers, and just a larger view count in general than what I'm getting with my average video that I'm putting out on the main channel, right, where really nobody shows up. By the way, I don't want anybody to think this is accusatory directed towards anyone. We're just crunching some numbers, okay? We're just crunching numbers. Ali says, I find it funny how quiet everyone is. It's like I'm in a lecture. By the way, you guys feel free to talk during this. If you guys have questions, thoughts, comments, whatever, please go ahead, because I may need some help being guided through this, because I sometimes get lost in the weeds of this. I may not explain something that I know that needs to be talked about. Anyway. So, part of what I've been saying I need to do part of the reason why I moved all of our Let's Play stuff to a secondary channel years ago was because I'm sitting on a bunch of subscribers, and viewership is being divided between different videos, right? Because there are people who are subscribed to me for Final Fantasy 15 trailer analysis or whatever garbage. There are people who subscribe to me because they saw the Kingdom Hearts entire story video, and maybe those people stuck around and watched the Kingdom Hearts playthrough, right? There are some people who just watch me for playthrough stuff, whatever. The problem was that I would sometimes make videos at that point that would get upwards of 20,000, 30,000, even 50,000, 90,000 views, occasionally. Very occasionally, but some of that Final Fantasy 15 stuff was kind of hot. I was concerned about issues with making tons of playthrough videos, because another problem with supporting a channel and putting stuff out on it is you want to have consistently released content. You don't want to vanish into oblivion forever and have irregular schedules, because this can harm your viewership. But another thing that can harm your viewership is whether or not people are clicking through to your videos. Let's say that you're subscribed to somebody, but you only watch one of every 20 videos that they make, right? Well, it's in YouTube's best interest to feed you videos that it expects you to click on, because what YouTube wants is for you to watch videos and have ads roll so they can make money. So if you're subscribed to 50 channels, and there's a channel that where when they send you a notification, you only click on one of every 20 videos, YouTube is going to stop sending you notifications for that channel, because it's not profitable for them to clutter your feed with something that you're consistently not clicking on. It's going to keep sending you stuff that you're more likely to go and watch, because they just want you to click on things and let those ads play. So I moved research runs to a secondary channel so the people who wanted Let's Play stuff could get Let's Play stuff, and the people who wanted main channel stuff could get main channel stuff, and if people wanted both, they could get both. But I was not going to poison one audience or the other, right? Was the idea. Then college got really busy, and the main channel did well for a while, and then it kind of died. Let's see here. This is the last 365 days of the main channel, right? We'll actually come back to this graph in a second, because more pressingly, I want to show the lifetime for the main channel. This is lifetime views across the entirety of the Frustrated Jacob YouTube channel, okay? 6.8 million views. That's fine. I like that. That's fine. That's all right, I guess. That's cool. These huge spikes that you're seeing here and over here are the Zelda, the Breath of the Wild open world design towers video, and the Disney remakes video, which both had bizarre overnight algorithm success because the algorithm decided to suddenly feed those videos to people. And by suddenly, I mean 2 weeks later in the case of the Disney video. That video got like 1,000, 2,000 views and then stopped dead for 2 weeks, and then suddenly it got 75,000 views like overnight. And it did really good for 2 weeks, and then it died hard again. YouTube stopped showing it to people. Now you'll notice on this chart, I had pretty surprising success for a small YouTube channel at the beginning here. And the reason we're getting a lot of daily views throughout this entire period is both just because of a lot of videos coming out, because there were Let's Play videos that were getting initially only like 50 views to 100 views, but then when FF7 and Kingdom Hearts 1 started, we started getting a lot more. Around, like, I don't know, here-ish? I don't know exactly when. 2016? It would have been 2015. I guess, yeah, it would have been maybe around here. Yeah, I guess around here. This is when I believe the entire story video came out. And that corresponded, very fortunately, with a new Kingdom Hearts trailer at E3 that year. In addition to Kingdom Hearts search traffic being way up, I released, by coincidence, it was very lucky that it happened to come out around E3, and when a Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer came out, I put out the entire story video, which I did as a challenge to myself of, like, all these Kingdom Hearts recap videos are, like, 2 hours long. How fast can I do it? I was aiming for 15 minutes. I didn't get there. It wound up being 20. Wound up doing fairly well for itself. I wish I could go back and redo it because I did it very quick, and it could have been a lot better, but whatever. I didn't plan on it getting 2 million views. Anyway, that released at in like the same week as Hollow Bastion was happening in Kingdom Hearts 1 and the Forgotten City was happening in Final Fantasy 7. So I was at the, fever pitch of cool stuff happening in 2 LPs that were related to people who were showing up to my channel might be familiar with. This is where the Kingdom Hearts playthrough started to overtake the Final Fantasy VII playthrough in terms of viewership. And then you'll notice we maintain a pretty decent performance throughout a lot of this, even after the playthroughs stopped coming out, because the Kingdom Hearts entire story video was just continuing to do numbers like every day, among other videos too. After Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out around here, nobody's watching the entire story video anymore. I don't know if that's because people are now looking for other recap videos, or if people don't need them anymore, or if everybody, if normies are off the Kingdom Hearts bandwagon entirely. I really don't know. But regardless. And then we get a few big spikes here that I'm unable to capitalize on because at this point in time when I did the Zelda video, I was literally out of town doing an internship. And other things, just various things have happened along the way. So anyway, if we go back to the last 365 days... This is the last year. You'll notice back here in April, there is suddenly an explosion of viewership. We can see it even on the large graph here. What is going on right here? What is this? That's nothing. You may think that that is the Final Fantasy 15 story rewrite video and the Paper Mario video. And it was, but these videos were not pulling 4,000 views a day for multiple days in a row. This whole thing right here is the Zelda video and the LA Noire video popping off again, completely randomly, because YouTube just decided to. And then you'll notice down here is the last month or two, where I have finally been releasing stuff fairly consistently. The last couple of weeks, I've literally released a video a week. I am playing YouTube's game, and none of them are getting picked up by the algorithm. And that's fine, because my entire strategy is to try and get something grabbed, to try and get some kind of attention. And instead of having the incident of the Zelda video releasing and me being gone and unable to capitalize on it, if one of these videos had suddenly done well, I'm trying to focus all of my energy on YouTube right now to be able to crank stuff out fast enough that if I have a big success, the channel doesn't just sit there and do nothing for 3 months like it did after the Zelda video, and then 3 months later I did an LA Noire video, right? I'm trying to play to YouTube. There's a bunch of stuff coming out. If people show up, there's a lot of recent content, and I'm hopefully going to be able to create more content. And similarly, I'm trying to push people to research runs, because this is the last year on, not the last year on research runs. This is 2019 on research runs. Over here this is actually irrelevant. This is lifetime research runs. I'm going to have to shorten this talk a little bit because we're almost time for Uncharted 2 to get started. That LA Noire video keeps getting recommended to me like 6 times a day. The LA Noire video does my best daily numbers now for whatever reason. I have no idea why. Anyway, this is Research Run's lifetime. This is Hitman and Shovel Knight. This is Kingdom Hearts 2 happening. This is Birth by Sleep starting. This is Birth by Sleep This is Birth by Sleep going on hiatus and coming back. Birth by Sleep was up here. It went away for a month, and it's down here. That's how much you can die just by getting your schedule messed up slightly. Then, Days happened, and Coded started, and then I stopped cold for a year, right? This is all live streams sporadically. This is the year of 2019, where we live streamed Final Fantasy IX occasionally. This is E3. This is E3 2019. These are a few more live streams down here. And then this is Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance and Kingdom Hearts 3. All of this right here, right? Then this is Sonic, Jedi, and Uncharted. To be fair, doing decent. I mean, it's doing better than the year where nothing was coming out. Is that good? I don't know. It's not great. I'm not really doing fantastic, and it's worth pointing out that I've been doing this channel now for a couple of years, and our growth is like nothing. I did not take a screenshot of the chart of subscription growth, but the only real spikes were like when the Kingdom Hearts 2 playthrough started and like 2 other spots. And we are left in a situation where I am trying to rekindle the main channel, which you'll notice this last year, after last April, where there was suddenly an explosion, this last year is the deadest the channel has ever been. Except for 2019, there was a pretty bad patch there because I wasn't releasing anything. But up until Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, the original Kingdom Hearts playthrough was pulling decent numbers. The entire story video was pulling decent numbers. Now we're done. We're dead unless the algorithm decides to feed stuff to people randomly for no reason. And even in 2 months of hustling, you'll notice there is no upward trend here. None. If we zoom in on literally the last 90 days, an argument can be made that in the last, 2 weeks between these peaks, there is very slight increase over this, but not really. I'm going to keep pushing as hard as I can to get these numbers to go up until June, July. Then I'm going to give up. That does not mean the channels are going to stop. It means I am going to stop taking it seriously. For a couple of years of college, I couldn't take it seriously anyway. Right now, I am treating YouTube like my job. I am doing it every day. I am working on this every day right now. When June happens, I'm not going to do that anymore. That doesn't mean the channel is stopping. That doesn't mean the channel is dead. That means that the current Research Runs release schedule of usually a video a week is going to become whenever I have time. The main channel is going to become whenever I have time. For the next, until June, July, I am going to push myself as hard as I possibly can to get as much crap out and see if I can get these numbers to go up enough that when I slow down, this is still at least chugging along decently. But though I do other work other than this, most of my actual job stuff is freelance. It's not enough to pay the bills, and I'm getting older, and I can't live in my parents' house forever. And I can't do this full-time, especially when I'm making nothing, and numbers are nothing. So I'm still planning on doing all of the Uncharted games with Joey at least, but understand that in terms of a dedicated, regularly released LP, this series might be kind of the last hoorah. But with that being said, unfortunately, we're gonna have to conclude this talk because the actual Uncharted 2 premiere starts now in just a few minutes, in 1 minute and 30 seconds to be precise. What I'm going to do is, boys and girls, what YouTube has now is a fancy feature that lets you basically dump out of a live stream and over into a premiere. So that's what I'm going to do. The 40 of us who are the 35, 36, 40 some odd of us who are hanging out right now, I'm going to dump us all over into Uncharted 2, and I don't want this to be a downer thing because I'm working on another LP with Aiden, and even like I said, if this one doesn't work out with Aiden and I will find something else to shoot. I'm still fully planning on doing all of the Uncharted games other than Golden Abyss or whatever. That is to say 1, 2, 3, 4, and Lost Legacy. We're going to try and do all of those still. And I can at least tell you that for the next, month or two, I'm going to be doing my absolute best to release probably not a video a week on the main channel, but I'm going to try my best to, if we can accomplish that, I'm going for it. And if I can get this stuff to go somewhere realistic, if I can get this to go somewhere useful, then that's the objective. But at the end of the day, even if I really get big numbers, I don't want to be a professional YouTuber for my entire life. I'd rather use this to combo into other stuff. And I gotta start work, and that's the problem is, even though I'm gonna keep working on YouTube for the next couple of months, I'm gonna have to start seriously considering that, so shall we say comboing of moving over. But that's it. Because Uncharted 2 with Jacob, Joey, and Aiden is about to start I'm going to dump us all over into that now. So have fun, everybody. I'm going to be in chat for this so we can keep chatting. Hopefully it's not going to be too much of a downer. Sorry if I downed everybody down with this.